My name is Krista Lee. I am a proud relayer from Elgin, Texas. I've relayed since 2005 as a caregiver and as a survivor. I serve on so many committees, I don't even really know which ones they all are right now at any given point in time. But the thing that has always remained true is how much I hate stupid cancer and how much I have come to absolutely treasure the family that we make through Relay for Life, not only locally, but also globally. I'm here to talk to you today about the survivors and caregiver portion of a Relay for Life event. You know, we always say the thing that does remain the same about relays everywhere is the why. And y'all, the whys are as vast as the number of relayers that we have. And every relayer has more than one why for relaying. But this is what it comes down to. We want to welcome our survivors. We want to welcome our caregivers. Because cancer touches everybody in more than one way. I was going to say one way or the other, but that would be a lie, wouldn't it? Cancer impacts so many people at so many different points in their life journeys and in so many different ways. The caregiver and survivor team came together and decided that what we really wanted to be able to communicate with you today is the fact that yes, Relay does touch all of us, and it does touch all of us differently. Because with that in mind, we asked for input from survivors who have been newly diagnosed and are dealing with all of those whirling emotions that happen the first time you ever hear those terrible words, you have cancer. We also want to talk with survivors who have been survivors for years and years and beautiful, wonderful years. People who have fought the fight, people who have benefited from early detection, such as myself. We wanted to recognize the many different stages of survivorship. We wanted to also recognize the many different levels, again, of how it impacts every single person differently. And for that, throughout this entire Relay event, you are hearing so many different stories from so many different people because Relay is about that story. So it's not just about the survivors either, is it, y'all? Because for every survivor, there are multiple caregivers, and caregivers are a part of that cancer journey right alongside the survivors. And while we have traditionally done a pretty good job of recognizing our caregivers, we also want to recognize another very special group of caregivers, and that is the bereaved caregiver. The bereaved caregiver is someone who walked along a loved one during their cancer journey and supported them in every way that we could, and still their loved one has passed. And for so many, that can make Relay just feel strange. It can make Relay feel like maybe it's too much, particularly if they were heavily involved with it, walking alongside their survivor. Then suddenly they're like, I don't know where I belong. Well, we're here to say you belong. In a bit, you're going to hear a story from Becky, who shares her own perspective as a bereaved caregiver and what Relay has meant to her in that particular role. You're going to hear from several other people today to share a little bit about their stories, a little bit about the things that Relay means to them and has meant to them at the different stages along their journey. And then we're also going to sum things up with some ideas for what you can do to further engage the survivors and the caregivers in your community so that we can always remember our why. We always need to remember our why, and we always need to remember the power of the connection. So that's why we're here today. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Becky Kinman from Effingham, Illinois, and I get the fun job of being the experience lead for Relay for Life of Effingham County. I love working with survivors and caregivers, and doing that in my own community brought me to be the national lead for the American Cancer Society for Survivors and Caregivers. I really have a passion for working with them because I was a caregiver to my mom when I was 21 years old. And that's where my story began. I lost my mom when I was 21 to esophageal cancer, and seeing her go through all that she did during her journey, I really thought I need a support system, and I found that in the Relay for Life. I have met so many wonderful people being a bereaved caregiver and sharing experiences and just going through that emotional experience that you have when you are with the Relay for Life. I am also married to my wonderful husband, Ken. In 2017, I became a caregiver again. He had kidney cancer, and thankfully, he did not have to take any treatments. So we still had to go through, he had a left nephrectomy, and we had a lot of recovery at home, and I became that caregiver again. So working with volunteers and staff nationwide is just amazing to me what the American Cancer Society does, especially Relay for Life. It is a movement that brings worldwide people together. I never thought that I would be Facebook friends with people in Belgium, but here I am. It's been so rewarding to have that level of passion and commitment and just hope that all of these volunteers across the nation bring together. And at the heart of that is our survivors that us caregivers care so deeply about. So I am a caregiver. I'm a bereaved caregiver, and I am very thankful for my experience that the Relay for Life has given me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janet Wagner, and I'm with the Madison Iron Relay for Life Committee, and I have been a survivor since 1984. In November of 1984, I was told that I had thyroid cancer, and the doctor plainly told me, I will set you up for January of 1985 for your thyroid removal. If you do not survive until then, please have your husband call and cancel the appointment so I can reschedule someone else. A horrible way to know that you have cancer. But I felt in there. In 1998, I was told that I had melanoma on the back of my left leg. I went in, the doctor was wonderful. I had it removed. I've not had to have treatment because he didn't stop removing the cancer till all the cells around the cancer spot were clear of cancer cells to his best of his ability. I have since then had probably 100 cancer spots removed from my body, and I have been told numerous times that it was the damage that I received when I was a child that has contributed to this. I have been a survivor, and I hope to continue to be a survivor.
Hey everybody, my name is April Sarakis. I am with the Madison and Iron County Relay for Life as the event lead. I've been the event lead since 2006. And as you probably well know, my mother is Janet Wagner. She just gave her story. So in 1985, as she said, when she had surgery for cancer, I was 10. So pretty much cancer has just been part of my life. Most kids go through the shock of hearing the words, you have cancer or your parents have cancer. I never had that because it was just always part of our dinner conversation of cancer, melanoma, skin cancer, pre-cancer, all those kind of good things. So cancer's just kind of been a part of our life. We don't even really know any different. So we just live with it. We're still battling it. My mom's doing well, and we work very hard in our area to get as many survivors as we can registered for our relay so that we can succeed and show everyone what each individual survivor means to us.
So we've heard from survivors and we've heard from some caregivers. What you're going to hear next is a very special story of a way that Debbie McDonald and her husband have been able to provide tribute to Mimo, their loved one, Debbie's mother-in-law, who they lost during her second battle with stupid cancer. She wasn't able to ring the bell the second time. So what follows is a story of how we can take our own grief and our own worry and concern and turn it into something beautiful and into a vision of hope.
So my husband and I thought, what can we do? What can we do to help keep her memory alive and keep pushing and pushing and help with this mission of the American Cancer Society? That's when my husband and I happened across this bell in an antique store. And of course, it was not on the frame that it was on. We just bought the bell. My husband built the frame. We lovingly named it Mimos Bell. We know that every time that bell is rung, that people in heaven that didn't win their battle are hearing us down here, still ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing, and hoping that they know we're still down here. We're walking the track. We're raising those funds. We're doing the necessary that it takes to make sure more and more and more and more cancer patients win that journey.
You can make an impact in your own way. Maybe by helping newly diagnosed survivors or comforting people who have just become caregivers and need support. As a part of your relay, your story can help you with donations or corporate sponsors. However you choose to use it, your story is important and it can make an impact. Please share your story. You too can make an impact in the fight against cancer. Thanks for listening and have a great day.
Basically what we do each year in order to get all these survivors is we start out around January or February, and my mother and her entire committee take on the phone calls. So we have a list this year of 416 people that they are going to call one at a time, individually, and they talk to these people. And literally, when they call these people, what do you hear?
I hear, I'm so glad you called. I can't wait for relay. Make sure I get my invitation to the luncheon. I will be there.
Or, I've been waiting on this call for 6 months. Where have you been, Janet?
Yeah. Or how come you didn't call earlier? And it's not a minute phone call. It's at least a 5-minute phone call per person because they want to talk to us and we want to talk to them. And that's what we do. We give them our time. It takes about 24 hours to call overall that many people. You can't just do it in a day because you talk to too many people for too long. We socialize is what we do with them.
Hi everybody, greetings from the Florida Panhandle. This is Jean Grieve and I'm with the Relay for Life of the Emerald Coast. I'm a longtime relayer since 2004. I'm also a survivor, I'm a caregiver, and I'm a voice of hope. And I'm also a strides person, so I'm pretty well-rounded, I guess you would say. From a survivor standpoint, I've been a survivor since 2012. I'm a basal cell carcinoma survivor. Thankfully, no melanoma, and I get checked every year. And from a caregiver standpoint, I've been a caregiver twice. Once for my brother, who I lost in 2016 to prostate cancer, and my best friend Dawn, who I lost the following year in 2017 to breast cancer. I probably connect more with the caregiver side, I think, because I am a loving, caring, and giving person. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but that's kind of who I am and what I've done all my life. I am a giver by nature. And I guess that's one of the reasons I really connect with the American Cancer Society and its mission. So I have a great deal of admiration and respect for both survivors and caregivers, since I'm both. And we want you to connect with the mission as a survivor or a caregiver or just a participant. All of us have a connection with cancer on some level. We know somebody either close to us, a friend, a family member, or even somebody somewhat distant who has some kind of connection with cancer. We all know that cancer doesn't sleep. It's indiscriminate. It can attack anybody at any time, anywhere. So our mission is important even more, especially during these COVID times. Last year, the American Cancer Society suffered some great financial loss due to COVID. So it's up to us to collectively do our part and try to raise money for the mission as best as we know how. Every dollar does count. So don't feel like a dollar contribution won't mean anything, because it does. Sell that glass of lemonade, sell that koozie, sell that calendar, have that poker tournament, whatever you can come up with. Anything will do to help satisfy the mission. We need to get those programs and services back into full swing so that our cancer patients are getting the programs and services that they need. And we're counting on you to help us with that. And as survivors and caregivers, we need your help too. We need you to continue to connect with the mission and do your part and get people to come out and support the American Cancer Society at every level. Because without you, there wouldn't be a mission. So please do your part as well. We're counting on you, all of you, to save lives and support the mission. Do your part today. Thanks, and have a great day.
The bottom line, y'all, is that survivors, of course, are our reason to relay, and caregivers as well are also our reason, our driving force, because as we work together for a world with no cancer, or with every cancer being followed by a cure, we must continue to stand strong together. We must continue to be united in the fight. We must continue to reach out and to share our stories, and to always remember that our own story is going to be a picture of hope for the next person who's coming down the line. So to all caregivers, to all bereaved caregivers, to all survivors, be you newly diagnosed or a survivor of years and years, welcome. Keep up the fight. Keep up the hope. Together we are stronger. Thank you.